Ever wonder why some people build strong, dependable relationships while others find intimacy difficult or are afraid of being abandoned? Often the solution comes from our early experiences, more especially from our attachment styles developed in childhood. Attachment theory was first developed by British psychologist John Bowlby in the 1950s. Posits that our early relationships with our primary caregivers are essential to our survival and psychological growth, and set the stage for how we connect with others throughout our lives. In simple terms, your life is impacted by how safe you felt as a baby and toddler. Bowlby believed that children's natural tendency is to seek out attachment with their caregivers in order to survive. This tendency builds a secure base from which a child can feel safe and supported. So, we are merely surviving when we cry, reach out, or cling. How our caregivers react to us, whether they are consistent, aloof, or unpredictable, begins to wire our brain for how we handle relationships. Mary Ainsworth, a colleague of Bowlby, expanded on his work through her Strange Situations study, identifying different attachment styles based on how kids react to being separated from and then reunited with their caregivers. Ainsworth identified 4 main attachment styles through her Strange Situation experiment. 1. Secure attachment. If your caregivers were consistently loving, responsive, and emotionally available, you probably developed a secure attachment, and you feel safe exploring the world, knowing you can return to a caregiver for comfort. As an adult, you're likely comfortable with intimacy, can trust others, and handle conflict in healthy ways. 2. Anxious attachment. If your caregivers were unpredictable, sometimes loving, sometimes distant, you might have grown up feeling uncertain about love. As an adult, you might crave closeness but also fear abandonment. You may overthink texts, worry about being too much, or constantly need reassurance in relationships. 3. Avoidant attachment. If your caregivers were emotionally unavailable or discouraged emotional expression, you might have learned to suppress your needs. Now, you might struggle with vulnerability or feel suffocated by intimacy. You're independent, yes, but sometimes too independent. You push people away when they get close. 4. And lastly, disorganized attachment. This one is often the result of trauma or abuse. Children with disorganized attachment didn't know what to expect from their caregivers, sometimes love, sometimes fear. As adults, they may fear intimacy but also crave it. It's a confusing push-pull dynamic that often leads to chaos in relationships. These childhood patterns don't just affect childhood and disappear. They extend into adulthood, and they shape how we see ourselves, how we relate to others, and even how we choose partners. That's why you're attracted to the same type of person over and over, even when it's toxic. If you had an anxious attachment, you might end up chasing avoidant partners, creating a painful cycle of emotional highs and lows. If you're avoidant, you may keep relationships surface level to protect yourself. And if you're secure, well, congratulations. You're probably the emotionally stable friend everyone goes to for advice. But attachment isn't destiny, it's a pattern. And patterns are not set in stone and can be changed. Understanding your attachment style can be the first step toward personal growth and healthier connections. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Psychiatrist Dr. Aaron T. Beck developed cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, in the 1960s. While working with patients struggling with depression, Dr. Beck noticed that by changing negative thought patterns, people could change how they felt and acted. That idea became the foundation of CBT. Someone with avoidant attachment might think, "I can't rely on anyone." Therapists using CBT might ask, "Is that always true? Have there been times when someone did come through for you?" By questioning old beliefs, CBT helps people rewire their thinking and learn how to respond with awareness and intention. In the 1980s, Dr. Sue Johnson developed emotionally focused therapy, or EFT. EFT helps people identify their deepest emotional needs, often the same needs that weren't met in childhood, and learn how to express them safely. Imagine someone with anxious attachment who constantly seeks reassurance. Through EFT, they learn to say, "I feel scared when I don't hear from you," instead of reacting with anger or neediness, and the partner learns how to respond in a way that builds security. Dr. Johnson's goal with EFT was to replace old cycles of fear and distance with new patterns of trust, empathy, and emotional closeness. The journey from insecure to secure attachment takes time and often support, but every moment of healing brings you closer to deeper relationships and a more stable sense of self. Because the truth is, you are not your past. You are who you choose to become. Yes, healing doesn't mean your past didn't happen, but it means you're no longer letting it control your future. Our childhoods leave fingerprints on every relationship we have, but awareness gives us the power to choose differently.